Hello and welcome to today's video. Today's video is kind of a downsizing, not decluttering style video. This is probably the closest thing I will ever get to a declutter because I'm not good at letting things go. I don't think I would ever expect to film a declutter on this channel. If you ever saw one from me, I would be shocked. So let me explain a little bit more about what downsizing means. I think some of you who've been here on my channel a long time and who follow me closely, you know that I've mentioned this before, that I want to send items home. So yes, let me back up and give you a little more context for those of you who don't know. I live in Sweden right now. We've been here about a year and a half, and hopefully December is now marking about a year and a half more to go at the most. So a year to year and a half more. Moving over here, we moved here with 2 suitcases apiece, and then we went home for Christmas and we bought more stuff over, and I bought my entire makeup collection. Like, I was able to get it all in those 2 trips over here, and now I'm realizing I still have way too many products to use up before we leave. So I've decided I want to kind of downsize and keep things here that I will use up, and that way I'm not stressed about having to get things home, because my makeup collection is something that it's precious to me. And if I were to stuff it into checked bags and then get it back home when we move, and I open my bags up and they're all broken, I would be heartbroken. So I'm gonna keep items that I really want to get good use out of over the next year and a half, or year to year and a half, and I really want to pick items that I think I can use up, and I'm gonna try really hard to not keep an excess here. It's gonna hurt like crazy because I love to rotate products. I love to get lots of use out of my collection, but I think that this is a sacrifice that I need to make. Plus, it'll be a good practice for me to kind of get an idea of what my ideal collection size might be. So I'm gonna function off of a smaller collection for the next year to year and a half. So this is my chance to kind of just play around and see how small the collection, or I think I'm keeping a good bit still, but yeah, you'll get the sense of, we're gonna go category by category. Wish me luck. Some of these categories, because I'm filming this intro after I filmed the footage, some of these categories were so difficult to pick and choose what to keep and what to send home because I love so much of them. And yeah, also, if you noticed in the footage, I didn't realize it until I was looking at it afterwards, but you can see my freshly washed hair, and not really, I was letting it air dry and it wasn't brushed, and I was just in t-shirt and pajamas. So if you notice that on the side of the screen, I'm sorry that I look like a hot mess, but let's jump into the actual footage of me downsizing my collection and deciding what to send home. So I apologize if my lighting isn't great. I'm trying to rely on natural light, and that's not always easy to do in Sweden. And so over here, you'll see that I've kind of organized these primers that I have. These are more pore refining, then we move into mattifying and pore refining right here, and then over here we start to move into moisturizing, and then we go into radiance illuminating primers. So like I said earlier, my goal is to kind of pick out things that I want to either keep, that I know I can't do without in Sweden, or things that I'm going to use up over the next year and a half, so that I don't have to pack home a bunch of makeup. My goal is to really finish off a lot of these products. And I guess I'll kind of work left to right too. So for sure, one that I have tried to work on a little bit, hopefully you can see that I've been making pretty good progress on this guy. This is just a pore minimizing product. I don't really love it, but at the same time, it's not bad enough to declutter. It's definitely usable, and I feel like I've made decent progress on it, enough to keep this one to work on it in the new year. So that one will stay. I think I'm also going to make an effort to keep all of my mini guys, just because they are so nice for travel, and I hope to do some more traveling this coming year. And so yeah, I haven't even tried, I haven't tried the Step 1 primer. I've tried Benefit. I haven't tried the Hourglass primer at all. I haven't tried the YSL one. And so it'll also be, when I get the itch to buy something new, it might be fun to kind of pull something like this out that I still haven't tried yet. So those will stay. Okay, so we have 3 pore refining primers right here. And out of these 3, I honestly feel like I'm going to use this one the most, because I've opened it and I prefer it to well, I like this one a lot, but this one I don't think I'll have a shot of finishing. And it's probably, besides this one, this is my newest primer. So I think what I'm gonna do is send this one home, because there's no way that I'll finish it this year or next year. Not with all these other primers, and because it's new, I'm not worried about it going bad. So I will send this one home, And then this one I will keep here because it's a smaller mini kind of guy, and I think I have a shot of finishing it off. And then for now, I think I'm also gonna put this in the pile to go home because I know that these kind of products take me forever to go through, and I have so many other pore minimizing products that I think that I want to work on them before this one. So I think I'll put this one in the go home pile. Okay, so we have 4 mattifying kind of pore refining, I think, primers. I'm not sure how much these, this one I know doesn't really pore refine, and it doesn't really mattify. This one feels more like a lotion to me. This one I have not tried yet. I haven't pumped it for the first time, but I think I really want to give this a try in the new year. Again, that mentality of when I want to buy something, this might prevent me from buying something because I have something new to already play with. So I'm gonna keep that around. This is a product that I can't live without. If I'm going to a special event, this is what I pull for. This is my like go-to primer because it does both mattify me and fill my pores. So this is one that even though I don't think I will finish in the new year, that I don't want to be without on special occasions. So that will stay. This guy is newer to me and I bought it here in Sweden, and then I didn't even open it until earlier this year. So to me, this is still rather new. And actually, when I bought this, I was coming from the US where I was a lot more oily in my T-zone. So now in Sweden, I'm not as oily as I was in the US. I guess because the difference in weather and humidity and that kind of thing. So what I'm gonna do is send this home because I just don't foresee needing, this is a lot of product. This is 2 ounces of primer in my opinion. So this is too much for me to use while I'm here. I know I won't finish this up, so I will send this home. This guy, since it's kind of like a lotion, and I really don't enjoy it. I mean, like, I don't hate it, but I really don't love this. I would never repurchase it again. I'm gonna try to finish this next year and get it gone because there's no reason for me to hold on to it. I think this might actually be a good primer to mix in with some of my liquid illuminators, my liquid highlights, and use it as a primer. So I wanna keep it for that reason and see if I can finish it in the next year. Okay, I only have 2 like hydrating primers. This one is almost done. I've been working on it like crazy, and I think I might have this done. If it's not done by the end of this year, it might be done by the end of January or so next year. So I'm gonna keep this one. And then also, since I only have 1 more, and this is one of my favorites, I'm going to keep this and just try to work on it. Even if I use it under my eyes only, it's such a great like hydrating primer for me. It works. So I'm gonna keep this one around. Okay, and we have 4 more Radiance Cream kind of products. These are like, they have a little shimmer to them. This is a lotion that it's technically not a primer, but I sometimes use it as a primer when I want to mix in liquid highlight. And so I think what I will do is, even though I probably could send this home, I could also use this as a body illuminator. So I think I might keep this around and just try to use it both as on my body and on my face next year. It's a really nice product. I've used this one up all the way before, and this is a repurchase for me, so I'm gonna hold on to this one. I'm probably also gonna hold on to these 2 too, even though I still haven't tried these out. These are brand new to me, and I haven't even opened them, but I don't know if you can see into the tube, but they're only about half full, which still is a lot of product. But I think, again, that when I want to try something new, I have the excuse of, well, you have new primers in your collection that you haven't even touched yet. And then this primer here is the only open one that I've really worked on, and I adore this product. So there's a big part of me that's like, well, I know I won't finish this, but at the same time, Radiance primers are some of my favorite things to use, and I just love this product. I hate the smell of this one, but to me, it gives like this really cool, beautiful, like, I just really like it. It's kind of like a peachy iridescent kind of sheen, but without being too much. And so I really want to keep this one here. And I'm not sending home, I'm sending these 3 home. I'm not sending home as many as I thought I would, but I know that I will, like, primer is a category that I love primer. I want to try a million primers, and I would be a happy girl if you'd let me do that. So I'm gonna send these 3 home. I think these are all 3 like full-size products that I know I wouldn't use. And I'm sure I will send a lot more like other products home, like foundations and that kind of thing. But primers, man, I'm a sucker. Okay, really quickly before we hop into foundations, I have about 9 concealer products, and some of these are like eyeshadow primers and like glitter glues and things like that. I'm going to keep these items. I am someone who goes through concealer like ridiculously fast. So these are all gonna stay. I'm not sending any of these home. So that's just a quick category to cover. But let's quickly hop into foundations. I think this is all my foundations. I feel like I might be missing one by my numbers, but I can't seem to find it wherever it is. So I'm just gonna pull randomly here and talk about ones that I'm keeping, that I know I'm gonna use up, what I'm sending home, that kind of thing. So the first up is, this is actually something when we go home for Christmas, this is my go-to foundation for when I travel because of the SPF in it. I always still wear an SPF under it, but this is something that's super reliable, lasts really long time. It's not my favorite on my skin, but when I travel, it's a must. So I, as you can see, am almost done with it. I really hope it lasts me like the 2 weeks that we're home. But either way, I have a backup kind of this at home, and so I'm gonna trade this one out when I get home, use this up, and bring back my backup when I come home. So that's kind of staying and kind of going. Another one that's staying here is this is a tinted sunscreen. Really, it doesn't really provide much like actual coverage, but this is also almost done. I think it's somewhere in here, and this is something that I plan to use up pretty early on in the next year, so that's gonna stay. And for the sake of like most of these with SPF in them, because SPF can become less effective over time, I'm going to keep this one too, because it doesn't make sense to me to send a product with SPF home, especially something as high as 30, when that is part of the reason why I enjoy the product, is that I get an extra layer of coverage. So on days when I know I'm gonna be outside, I want to wear something like this over the top of sunscreen. So that's staying. This is another one that I am not in love with, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna go in a project pan for next year. So I'm gonna keep this here, and it's a very liquidy foundation, so I'm not sure if that means it will go quicker or if it will go slower. But this is, since it's not a favorite, I don't want to repurchase, but at the same time, I spent a lot of money on this guy. I want to use this up, so it's gonna stay. Another product that I know I'm gonna keep with me just in case I need the like lightening aspect, I use this to mix with foundation. This is just a white foundation from LA Girl. I love this. It's also really nice for like Halloween looks. I've used it so many times during Halloween, so this is just something that I feel I need to keep. I'm also going to keep this guy here. This is the Healthy Elixir foundation from CoverGirl. So this is a product that I've used quite a bit of, and this is one that I definitely think I will use up within the next year in 2020 and get this number, or it's one of my favorite formulas. I have a backup, and the backup actually I will send home because this is unopened. I don't foresee myself using it. Even though it does have SPF, this is not one that I rely on for the SPF of. So I'm keeping this one here, sending this one home since this one is unopened and brand new. I bought it this year. I don't think it's gonna go bad in a little over a year. So this foundation here, the It by Lines foundation, is a foundation that I've just started working on at the end of this year in a project pan, and I'm going to hold on to this one and try to, this is again one that I spent, I think I got it half off, but still that makes it pretty expensive because this foundation is expensive to begin with, and I don't love it, and I definitely want to work this one out of my collections this year, so I'm gonna hold on to this one. Another one that I want to work on this year and getting out, because I spend a lot of money on this one. Actually, I really do enjoy this one. This is the Tarte Hybrid Gel Foundation, and this one's a little dark for me in the dead of winter, but it's also a good color for me when I self-tan. So I'm gonna keep this one here. But with that being said, I have this here, this one, Cream Beige, the Wet n Wild one. This one is one that I purchased for self-tanning specifically, and I dislike this foundation so much. Like, I just, even when I'm self-tan, I'd rather wear a light foundation and just bronze the heck out of my skin because I just do not like this foundation. So I'm gonna declutter this one actually, which makes me really excited. So this is going to my declutter bin. I'll probably talk about this also in my empties video just because I tend to talk about items that I declutter there. But so you may have already seen this by the time you see that. And another one, this is the same foundation, and again, if you ever get foundation up into the cap area, you're done for. Like, it just cruds up. I've tried to clean it up a million times. Because I'm not a fan of this foundation, I'm also going to declutter this guy. One more that I'm going to declutter is this number 7 Beautifully Matte foundation. This is one that I actually like the way it looks on my skin, but the shade is so off. Let me see if I can show you. It kind of is like this weird grayish green undertone, it's not right for me at all. And I can make it work, but I just do not enjoy it. So that one is also going to be one that I declutter. Plus this one, I think the SPF in it expired in like 2018, and I didn't even realize that until the other day. So I do not want that one anymore. Okay, let's move into ones that I'm going to keep. This one is a Bare Minerals matte little travel guy. I got this earlier this year and I really enjoy it so far. Like, this is a nice one to travel with, or on days that I'm like really rushing to get out of the door. I just pop on some concealer and pop this over the top. And so this is definitely one that I want to keep and use a lot next year. I really enjoy this product. I'm surprised how much I enjoy it. Another product that I want to keep around is this Maybelline Matte Mousse, Dream Matte Mousse. I've used a good bit of this, obviously, but I'm not sure that I want to keep it for very much longer. So for that reason, I don't see the need to send it home, because it definitely, like, if it goes home, then I'm decluttering and I'm paying to send something home that's just being decluttered later. So for me, I'm going to keep this here, but it's going to either get used up or I'm going to let it go within this next year. So that's something that I've got to reckon with over the next year. Another product that I want to keep here, mostly because I don't know how I feel about it. This is a Pure Contour Stick. Cameo contour stick, and I don't think I've really ever used this. Maybe I've used the contour side one time, and honestly there's not a ton of product in this, so I think I want to keep this, put this into a project for next year and work on it. See if I can get it done and used up, because it doesn't have much product. I think I can use it quickly, but I also haven't used it, so I don't know how I feel about it yet. So that's something that I want to keep around. Okay, so far I've kept a good number of products, and I've sent one home, and I decluttered 3, but I need to like decide which one of these. So I think these 2 are rather new and I don't wear them that often. I like to mix these 2 together, because this one's too drying and this one's very hydrating, so I find that together they work, but I don't foresee myself being able to use this up that way. Like, if I mix them, it would probably take me almost a whole year to use these 2 up, because I don't use a ton of foundation when I use it. I'm more of a heavy concealer user. So I'm going to send these home. I don't, like I said, they're both newer foundations in my collection, so I'm not worried about them like going off or anything. Then this is probably my oldest foundation in my collection, so I feel the need to keep it and try to use it, even though, or either declutter it. So I will hold on to this one. But this guy here, this is one that I mix typically with other foundations, and I don't really have any that I need to mix with this that I'm keeping. So I'll send this home. This is another one that I'm not crazy about. It's kind of a little bit older in my collection, but at the same time, I'm okay sending it home and like just taking the chance on whether or not it's good when I come back. So I will send this home. I don't really always need a full coverage option, and when I do, I typically reach for something like this Tarte one instead of this guy. Even though this has more coverage than the Tarte is like just enough to get by. So, and then the other one I'll send home is this Stila. This is it's a decent foundation. I haven't really fallen in love with it, but then again, I haven't really used that much of it, if you can see. So I know I haven't really given it the best shot, but at the same time, I know I won't finish this up in the next year, so I will send this one home as well. This one here is one that I didn't know how, like, I did not like until earlier this year when I played around with it enough to realize, oh, okay, I like it with a brush and I like it wearing it a certain way. And I do actually quite like this foundation, and I feel like I know I won't use this up at all, but at the same time, I kind of want to keep it just to give myself like something to rotate in that I'm not working on, that I can just make progress on. So I think I will keep this one around for that reason, because a lot of the items that I'm keeping, here, I'll show you. This one, these are like a quarter of the way done. This one's about halfway done. This one I haven't used at all, but I also don't really, I think I'll use that more as a contour highlight stick rather than a foundation stick. This one, I have no idea how long it's gonna take, but it's literally watery consistency. Like, you have to shake it up. So this one I'm not sure how long will take, so I'll keep that. I won't even really count that. This one is very light coverage. This one is very light coverage. This one's practically gone. This one's full coverage, so these two are like fuller coverage. These two here are fuller coverage. And then I have a powder one. So I want to keep this one here because I have 2 full coverage options where these are not full coverage. These are more medium to light coverages. So I'm happy with this. This is something that I feel like gives me a good goal of what I need to use up, makes me focus on certain items, and yes, we will move on to the next category. Holy mother of powder, here we go. This is my Kat Von D Lock-It powder. I am trying to finish this up before the new year. I think I will hit that goal, so this is gonna stay technically because it's gonna be used up. So that's staying. This is a new one to me. I have not tried it out yet, and I do not, even though I know I won't probably finish it off in a year to a year and a half, I really wanna try it out. I don't want it just sitting there, so I wanna keep this here. This is one, however, I have not opened. Like, the seal is still on it, and for, ooh, you can see the powder has touched the seal and moves around a little bit, but I have not opened it, so I will send this one home. This is to me one that I have used up a full one of these before, and I know how long it takes, so I don't think I will finish it up. It's bulky, it's big, it's hard to transport. I'm gonna send this home. I'm okay with it sitting there. I don't think it'll go bad. It's powder that hasn't been opened yet, so this can go home. Now, I also have a lot of pressed powders. Oh, this is another loose powder that I'm actually made quite a bit of progress on, and so I'm gonna keep that and try to finish that off next year too. Now, I have quite a bit of pressed powders. Let's get all of these pressed guys out. Okay, pressed powders, I prefer loose powder. So over the next year, I do actually kind of really want to work on getting a lot of these press guys out of my collection. Like, for example, this one here is, I treat this more as a foundation powder, and I have made good progress on it, and this one goes pretty quick, so I'm gonna keep this around and use it up over the next year. And then these here I treat not as foundation powders. These are more like touch-up powders. So these actually have a place in my collection. I bought this on like vacation because I forgot my little touch-up powder for the middle of the day when you get a little oily. So this will stay. I'm gonna keep this one here with me because I will use that as a touch-up powder. This is another one that I also bought for a touch-up powder and forgot that I had already bought that one. So I don't foresee myself needing two of them, but at the same time, I feel like I probably will go through this, and then I'll want a backup. So I will keep this one too, even though I probably won't use it all the way up. This guy here is one that is a glowy powder, and I do not foresee myself reaching for this a ton, enough to use this big old pan up. And this is it's newer in my collection, so I'm gonna send this guy home. And this one is another glowy powder, but this one's older, so I'm gonna work on finishing this guy up. I really enjoy this powder quite a bit. This is a really nice press powder, so I'm gonna work on finishing this guy up. If I want a shimmery powder, I'll reach for this one over that one, and then when I'm finished with this one, I will work on that one. Now, this foundation powder from Laura Geller is one that I'm also on the fence about because it's a nice powder, and I've used it a little bit, but at the same time, I have a feeling this one would be one that takes forever to use up, but at the same time, I feel like I need to make an effort to use it. So I will keep this here along with my Bye Bye Pressed Pores powder that is in a project right now. I will keep this one here. And then I have 3 loose powders that I have not opened. I have not used any of these. This one still has the seal in it. This one is still brand new. This one also has the seal in it. Like, I just haven't used any of these yet. I'm gonna keep these little guys because they're really good for traveling. And then this one is supposed to be the hydrating mineral veil, and I'm afraid that if I let it sit for much longer that it won't be good. So I'm going to keep this and try this out in the new year. I know I'm keeping probably way too many powders, but at the same time, I feel like I need to work on all of these. So I'm gonna keep all of these. And I'm sending home these big 2 guys right here. And this one guy that I didn't talk about right here in the back is a Mally like mattifying kind of silicone wedge. It's not really a powder, but this is one that I use occasionally to touch up with. So I will hold on to this one too. So these will all stay. Okay, these are my setting sprays, and this one is open. It's about, imagine a little less than halfway done. So I think this will be one that I focus on using up in 2020. So that's staying. I'll put that over here. This one here is unopened, but because it's a mini size, and it's supposed to be mattifying, I kind of want to try this in the summer. So I'm going to let myself keep this because even if I don't finish it, it's so small that I wouldn't mind bringing it home. And then I have this all-nighter. This is unopened, but this is so small and it doesn't even feel like it's like even halfway filled up. So I want to keep that one. And this one is one that I've used a couple times. I don't typically do that. I usually use a setting spray all the way up, but occasionally I've kind of felt like I wouldn't mind some additional like dewy illumination. So I'm going to keep this because this one again is small and I don't see the benefit in letting it just sit at home when I could see myself reaching for this enough to use it up because it's kind of small. So we'll keep that. These here are items that I like to make my own setting sprays for traveling, especially because I don't typically always love to, even though this is small and would fit in a carry-on bag, I don't want to always bring an illuminating spray that big. And so I make this little thing here. This is my leftover from when I went to Paris. This is like glycerin, which is a nice hydrating kind of thing. This is some vitamin E oil. And then I either mix it with this rose water or I mix it with rose water toner and a little bit of water. And yeah, this is like, I'm gonna keep all 4 of these because I really enjoy using them. I probably see myself using this within the next year, so that was definitely a keeper. And then I probably will just chunk this by the time I move because it's super cheap to get and I know I won't use it all up, but it's not a bad product, so I will get, and I want to get as much use out of this too. This goes bad in 2021 and it's such a nice product to have around. I mix it into like products that are drying out occasionally. And then this rose water toner is something that I definitely think that I will use up. I'm about halfway done with it. Hopefully you can see that. About halfway done with it, and I definitely think I can use this up in the next year. So these 4 are gonna stay. This is just a little one. I don't even know if that counts. This one here, this is the one that I need to reckon with because I have not opened it. It's still sealed and I don't quite know if I will finish it. Part of me thinks I should keep it and part of me is like, eh. You know what? I'm gonna send it home. I don't think I'm gonna use it enough to like make a dent in it even by the time we move home. So I will send this home, focus on those. I will probably take me a long time to use all of those up and that's what I'm gonna do. Final answer. Okay, let's talk about bronzers. So this is one I need to talk about up front that I decluttered. I decluttered this in a little highlighter, little pan of highlight from ABH. This I crumbled up because it's just too shimmery to be a bronzer or even a bronzer topper for me. This I crumbled up into this guy a bunch with along of like some other products that you'll see in a minute that I'm gonna mix into lotion. So this is technically just decluttered and this is just going home to go into lotions. So those are going home and this is decluttered. Now an item that I want to focus on in the new year is this guy here. This is my ABH Cream Contour Kit. I want to use it up because it is a cream product and I'm afraid it will kind of turn before some of my powder products. So this is one that's going to stay. Another one that I'm going to keep here for the same reason is this Nutmeg Concealer. I bought it when cream contour and stuff was all the rage, but at the same time I think this might be a little dark, but I need to figure that out in the new year and be okay with decluttering it if it's not going to work for me. Now I have 2 Benefit Hoola bronzers. This one I have in a current project pan, so this one is staying. This one here is, I don't see myself using this one in the new year. So I think I will send this guy home. Now one that I would like to work on this next year, I crumbled this highlight out because it was not a very good highlight in my opinion. But this guy is one that I have already hit pan on one of these shades and it's pretty tightly pressed powders, but I do think that I want to work on panning this palette over the next year or so. So I'm gonna keep this here in order to work on that. This is a palette, however, that I do not see. Hopefully I'm not blinding you, I'm sorry. This is one that I don't really foresee myself using up this next year, so I'm gonna send this one home. This is a little highlight that came with it too. That can also go home with it. And then this is also one that I know myself, I'm not going to finish this or probably even hit pan on it in the next year. So for that reason, I will send this one home. I'm not worried about powder products. They tend to last a lot longer, so I will send this one home as well. Now this guy here is broken, so this one's staying because it's, you know, if it gets damaged in transit, it's not a big deal. But I also crumbled out the 2 highlighters in this because I didn't really like them. But these products here, I would love, love, love to hit pan on them in the next, hit pan or use them up. So this is another face palette that I want to consider like trying to pan. So this one will stay. Now I have 3 regular size bronzers that I need to reckon with and decide which one stays, which one goes. Now this one here is probably the newer, no, it's not the newest of those three, but at the same time, I don't think I will use this along with these. This is a very pigmented powder and these are very pigmented powders, so I can't really pair them together. So I will send this guy home. This guy, however, is a lighter bronzer on me, so I could actually use this over the top of some of those other ones, even the cream bronzers. So this one I will keep. And this one, God, this is my favorite bronzer, so a little bit of me is like, no, keep it, but it actually is also still like my newest bronzer. So I think for that reason, I will send these two home and keep those over there to use up over the next year. Okay, here we have blush products, and this is probably gonna be my hardest item to like downsize, and because I love blush so much. But I know two right off the bat that I want to send home, mostly because I've already hit pan on them and I feel like I've given them a good amount of love, plus they're annoying since the packaging is broken. I don't want to even think about how to get those home. So that's my two Wet n Wild blushes in Pearlescent Pink and Apricot in the middle, because again, they've gotten enough love from me. They have pan, they can go home, and I can focus on some other items that I have not hit pan on. One product that I know I have not really given enough love, but at the same time it's my least favorite, is this BH Cosmetics blush palette. This is a nice palette, but it's a little bit too pigmented for my liking. I really like these shades over here. I wanted to like these shades over here, but again, they're too pigmented. So I have so many of these colors already that I feel the need to just, you know, these are powder products. They're not going to go bad quickly. I'm going to send this home and give some of the ones that I really, really enjoy more, a little bit more attention this next year and a half. So this can go home. Now this one pains me to send home because honestly, this one is this is my favorite blush formula, these Laura Geller baked blushes. This is in the shade Peach Delight. I just got this though in August, and oh my God, I love it. But at the same time, I have some other ones that are not as new that need more attention. So since this one is so new, I'm gonna just send it home, use some of the ones that I have not paid enough attention to, and then that way when I get home I can give this one plenty of love and attention. So while this one hurts maybe the most to send home, it's new and it's not going to go bad. So for that reason, and I'm not going to finish up a full-size blush like this, so that one can go. Two that I will keep here because both are small, and I think that these are things that I want to work into projects next year. This is two Lancome like little mini blushes. This is in the shade Blushing Tresor, who knows. And then another one here is Rose Fresque, and this one is like a nice cool tone. This one's a nice warm tone. I think this one's probably more corally than Peach Delight. No, they look so similar, so there's no reason for me to have two that look so similar. So I'm gonna work on hitting go on this one and possibly getting rid of it in the future if I feel like I can't finish it, and then I'll reckon with that later. But these two, since they're so small and they're mini guys, and I've used them quite a bit, so they have some wear on them, I think that I would like to at least try to hit pan on them in the next year so they will stay. Okay, I can't believe I'm gonna do this, but I'm going to send this one home. This has been in my entire 2019 Project Pan. I've used this to death. My goal was to wear off patterns, and hopefully you can see that I've done a really good job, but at the same time, I am not motivated to pick this up a lot next year for the fact that I've been using it so much this year. So I'm going to continue using it until the end of December, and when I leave to come back, we fly back on January 1st. When we leave to come back, I will just leave this in Phoenix City and I will miss it. I love this palette, but at the same time, I used it so much this past year. I mean, tons. So yeah, it's time to show some other items in my collection some love, and I will think fondly of this one and miss it so much. Another item that I'm going to keep here is this little guy here, and this is one that I think I'm going to focus on hitting pan in these next year, and then I think I might declutter this. So this was one of my first high-end blushes, Tarte, but I didn't love the shadows in here, so I crumbled them out, but the blush is actually pretty nice. So I want to keep this one here and try to hit pan. I know that's going to be so hard, but I think I can do that over the next year or so. So that's staying. One that I will send home, because this is another one that it's a little chunky, like the box is kind of big for what it is. Like, why I don't know. I don't love this packaging. But at the same time, this is a newer blush to me, and it's not gonna go bad because I literally got it within the past like year or so. So this one is good to go home. I really enjoy this, and I am sad that I won't have it with me, but I don't foresee myself using it enough to keep it here. Another one that this one I've worked on so much, and you can barely see like the end, like where I rubbed off a little bit over here. This one to me is very similar to the guy that I'm keeping from Lancome, so I will send this one home. Plus it's, again, kind of bulky. I don't want to store that on the way back home. This one is one that I think I will keep here. This is an Essence Satin Touch blush in the shade Satin Love. I really enjoy this. This one's new, so I'm on the fence about sending it back home because it's definitely not going to go bad in that time, but it's so small and it's so nice. This one here is one that I've tried to tell myself, send it home. It's not gonna go bad, it's beautiful. But this is my favorite, and I really wanna, this is one I like to travel with because it's just nice, really beautiful blushes, and I don't think I can live without this palette. I know that I won't finish this palette up, but I don't honestly think I can live without this palette. So this one's staying. This one here, I'm on the fence about again. This is a Stila palette, and I really enjoy the shade here. This shade here is too dark, but I use it as an eyeshadow, and I think I'm gonna keep this here. I'm gonna keep it. I really like the shades and the eyeshadows in this too. They're very like beautiful. Hopefully you can see that up close. But I foresee myself wanting like this kind of orangey shade, so I will hold on to this. This is a e.l.f. like cream lipstick that I use as a liquid blush, or a cream blush, not a liquid. And I think I will also keep this one here because I have a Partners in Cream project pan that I could put this into and work on, and we'll see about using that one up. This one, again, I'm so on the fence about whether or not to keep it here. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna keep this here. It's beautiful. I haven't really given it that much attention. It's still got way too much pattern showing. And so yeah, I feel good about what I'm sending home, what I'm keeping. Yeah, let's move on. Okay, highlighters. Let's go ahead and pull the ones that I know I'm keeping. I'm going to keep all of my ColourPop highlighters because I'm gonna work on cream products in this next year quite a bit. So these are all staying. Another one, these are also cream products. This is a highlighter from ColourPop, but in different packaging. Staying. Stila Cream Highlight in Kitten. This is staying. Now, I have 3 liquid illuminators here. I'm gonna keep this one because I've worked on it quite a bit and I think it's something I can finish in 2020. Whoops, but these 2 here do not have a ton of progress. This is newer though, so I'm gonna send this guy home. It's in a pump and it's a little bit more sanitary, but this one has that dropper style thing, and so I think I can make more progress on this guy also because it's way smaller. I'm gonna keep this one, send this one home. Okay, let's go ahead and do some other ones that I know I will send home. For example, I have 2 of these Largeller ones. I will keep the small one and send the big one home. This is my favorite highlight, so I have my backup that will go home. Then this guy here, my Wet n Wild highlight in the shade Boozy Brunch. This is gigantic. This is more of a body highlight for me nowadays, but I don't want, it's pretty enough to like keep intact. I don't want to crush it up and put it into that little jar that I showed you earlier. So this one I will keep, but I will send it home for sure because I don't need to use it right now. Another one that I will send home is this Essence Pure Nude highlight. I like this, but I don't love it. I tend to prefer a highlight that's a little bit more intense. So for that reason, that can go home for now. Another one that I will send home is this Wet n Wild one in Precious Petals, mostly because I've hit pan in this guy already. And so I feel like I've given it enough attention. It's got enough time in the sun, so it can go home for a little while I work on some other things. This one here is one that I'm also thinking I'm gonna send home. I've been wearing it like crazy a ton in anticipation of sending it home. I love this shade so much, as the Puma Maybelline collaboration, so I'll send that one home. Okay, so I love duochrome highlighters, and I have 2 duochrome highlighting palettes. This one is my newer one from AVH. This is the Dream Glow Kit. I love these shades so much, and this one is the Aurora one by Anastasia. Again, I love these shades so much. This one is older, so I'm going to keep this one here, and since I literally got this one in August, it's not gonna go bad waiting at home for me, so I'm gonna send this one home. Okay, I have a bunch of like goldy highlights that This one here, Lunch Money from ColourPop, this is like a fave, and I definitely want to probably finish this up over the next year and a half. So I need to kind of be strategic about keeping things. This one's more gold. This one's a little bit more neutral, like gold and undertone. This is like yellow gold. Then I have Rodeo Drive. This one is more champagne bronze, almost peachy undertone. Then we have the Amrezy highlight, and again, this one and Rodeo Drive are so similar, so I'm not going to keep both around. I think I'm going to keep Rodeo Drive around because this one is such a nice travel palette and I really enjoy traveling with it. It's got a nice bronzer, a nice blush, they all work for me, and so on minimal travel trips, this is one that I will keep with me and work on. And then, okay, eating my words already. So this one in Butterscotch is so similar also to like Rodeo Drive and Amrezy. So I'm actually gonna send this one home, and I'm going to just keep this ABH Glow Kit here and try to see if I can make some really big divots or possibly hit pan in a couple of these. I already have a nice dip in this one here, Gumdrop. This is the duochrome in the palette. So I think I need to like spend some time really giving this palette a lot more love. And by sending some of the other ones home, I will be able to do that next year. Okay, these little guys from Becca here are also very tempting to keep with me, but at the same time, I have so many similar shades in the ABH palette, and Wisp by ColourPop is pretty much almost, it looks the exact same to me on my face by ColourPop, so I'm gonna send both of these home. This is so hard to do, but at the same time, I feel like it's necessary. Okay, let's go through brows too. I have 3 brow powders, all of which I do, like brow powders would take forever. This one has never even been opened, so that can go home. This one here it's been open and I hit pan in like the cream shade, or the cream formula part of this. This is the powder formula. But I don't foresee myself trying to finish that in the next year, so we will send that home. This is another NYX powder. Again, I've used this one quite a bit. I have some dips, but I don't foresee myself using it. This is a cream product that I have not opened yet, but at the same time, I know when I do, it will be all that consumes my life. So I will keep this here and probably open it right there after I finish some of these guys. So that's just a brush. This is a Precisely My Brow. This is a Goof Proof brow pencil. These are staying. This one is a little It Brow Power pencil. It can stay. Now I think I'll send this home. This is still in like the plastic wrap. This is an LA Girl Shady Brow Pencil. That can go home. This one here, I keep to do Bo's brows occasionally, but it's not, I haven't even used it yet. So a little bit of me is like, oh, what do I do with this? I think I'll send this one home too. Then I have, this is like a lash primer that I use in my brows. I will keep this. This is Make Me Brow, keep that. A clear brow gel, keep that. And this guy hasn't even been opened. This is Gimme Brow. I will also keep that. This is a brow highlighter pencil, and it's just a cream stick. I will keep that. And that right there is already probably too many brow products. I think that will provide me plenty of brow options for the next year or so, and then those will be okay to go home. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, these are my eyeshadow palettes, and we're gonna go through mostly powder products. I have a ton of Stila and a couple Wet n Wild and ColourPop like cream and liquid shadows, but since they're all cream and liquid, they're gonna stay here with me in Sweden so that I can give them plenty of love and attention, because they too tend to dry out before powder products do. So a lot of these decisions you're gonna see probably will be motivated by like formula and size. But this one is one that I'm gonna definitely keep here. This is my newest product. This is my newest eyeshadow palette. I got it on sale in Sweden. I lucked up and found it for more than half off, or right around half off. So I'm so excited to give this plenty of love and attention this next year. That is definitely staying, even though it's a little bit big compared to some of the other ones that I definitely want to keep. But this is one that I still feel comfortable like putting. I transport all of my eyeshadows when I travel in my carry-on luggage because I do not trust them to go in like check luggage. So this one is one I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna pretty much send all of these little guys home here. I've already hit pan in this guy, but these guys are shades that I don't tend to pull for individual shades that often, so all of these can go home. Now, some of the ones that I will send home are, and this pains me, this really hurts. This is like one of my favorite palettes in my collection, not because I love the entire palette, but because I love these shades right here. These two reds are like my go-to red shades, and I am already like having like an internal panic about not having access to these, but at the same time, I do not want to try to bring this massive thing home in, you know, a year when we move back, and we're trying to bring back so much at that point. Like, moving home is gonna be hard because we brought things over in 2 or 3 different trips now. So, but we have to make it all home in like one. So we're gonna take a lot home for Christmas this year. So this one is one that, although this one pains me so much, I'm gonna send this one home and make it wait on me, and I will pick it up and use it when I come back home. So that one's going home. This one also is going home. This is 35M by Morphe. I love these greens. I will miss these greens, but I cannot like travel with 35 palettes and bring them home. So that is, especially not ones these big. So this one is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. Mine's pulling away from the board, which is also annoying. This one, again, beautiful palette. I would love to be able to keep this around and work on actually hitting pan in some of this, but I can't justify keeping it around while also trying to figure out how to bring it home. So that can go home as well. This is a little Z palette that I have. This just has a couple shades. I probably will pull this guy out. This is ColourPop Glass Bowl, but the other shades, this is Blissful. Oh, this was a highlighter that I forgot to talk about, but it can also go home because it's very similar to some of the other shades that I'm keeping. So these can go home. I will miss them, but I want to keep, oops, I'm gonna keep Glass Bowl around, and then I'm gonna send this one home here. These two here are Lorac Mega Pro palettes, and I love these palettes. They're beautiful. This one has gotten a lot of love from me. I have pan in the shade. These have pretty big dips. This one has a dip going, but again, the size of this palette is just a little bit bigger than what I want to like deal with when I go home. So I'm going to send both of these home. This one is the Pro 2. Nice, beautiful shades here, but they're also not extremely like unique. So I have other smaller palettes that have a lot of these shades, so I'm okay with sending these home. This is a Lorac palette that I love too, but again, this one is way too big to keep around, so I will send this one home. Now this is one that I want to keep here because this, when I want a like nice colorful palette, this is one I go to. This is the BH Cosmetic Festival palette. This one is going to stay. Okay, let's pull these here. This is the Athena palette, not my favorite palette, but I don't see myself really reaching for it a ton next year, so I'm gonna go ahead and send that home, as well as the Happy Birthday palette, the Reloaded Neutrals 2 palette from Makeup Revolution, and this guy here, I don't really, again, see myself reaching for it when I have these shades in other palettes. So those can go home. 2 other ones that are going home, even though they're small, I've already hit pan in 2 shades here. I've hit pan in 2 shades here. And so these, I feel like they've gotten plenty of attention from me this past year, so they can go home. Another one that I'm gonna send home is this NYX palette. This is the In Bloom little six pan palette, and this one again is one that I have these shades in my Modern Renaissance palette, and I love those shades, so these can go. Let's talk about some that I'm keeping here. These are my ABH palettes, and then I have one Lorac Pro palette. I love this neutral, nice neutral palette, go to, easy to wear. Love this palette, staying. Sultry, I want to give it a lot more attention next year. Modern Renaissance, I love to travel with. This is my favorite travel palette, staying. Subculture, staying. Norvina, my favorite palette in my collection at the moment. This one is staying. Another one that I'm going to keep here to use is my Dose of Colors Friendcation palette. I enjoy this palette, but I find it pretty hard to work with, and it fades on me if I'm not careful. Like, I have to really work hard to get these shades to not fade. So I'm a little disappointed in that, but the shades are still so, some of them are so stunning that I will continue to use it. All right, this is one that I'm very sad to send home because my husband gave this to me, but at the same time, I don't think I can keep it here and justify. I don't reach for a single shade from here often, and so I'm gonna send this home for a little while, and I will gladly pick it back up when I go back. I will miss this one, but I don't want to keep too many. I have 2 little mini palettes from Too Faced, the Natural Eyes and the Natural Matte palette. This was one in my current project pan, and I think after this year, I'm just gonna leave it at home because these shades are a little bit more cool tone and they're beautiful, but I prefer this one that has a little bit more mix of like both cool tone and warm tones. And I think I'm just more likely to reach for this as a supplement to some of those palettes that I'm keeping. So this one stays and this one will go home. Two little guys that I'm definitely going to keep are my Marvelous Mobs palette by Dose of Colors. I really enjoy their matte formula. And then this Natasha Denona Mini Lila palette is going to stay as well. And then I have this Lorac palette here, and this one was one that I was tempted to keep here because it's smaller, but at the same time I'm looking at the shades and I'm kind of thinking I will not reach for these a lot. These two are my favorite, the neutrals in here, and I just think that for now I'm okay with sitting at home and letting it sit for a little while because it's definitely not going to go bad anytime soon, but at the same time I don't think I will get enough use out of it to like warrant keeping it here. And then I have three kind of smaller palettes from different brands. I have a ColourPop My Little Pony, a Pure My Little Pony, Juvia's Place Saharan, and I think I'm gonna keep these just in case I want to play with Pops of Color because so many of my Anastasia palettes are like very neutral. This is one that has Pops of Color in it, but these offer different tones than like this Festival palette, which is a Pop of Color. So I'll keep that around. My Little Pony is really pretty. I like to use this in conjunction with Modern Renaissance, and even though I have some shades in my ColourPop shadows that are similar to some of these, I still like, I think there are some shades in here that are just special enough that I want to keep around. Actually, I think I'm gonna send home my ColourPop palette and I will keep this Pure Little Pony palette here because it has this really nice red shade. It has this really nice yellow shade. I enjoy it. It takes a little building, but it's nice. And then I don't really love the shimmers in here, but I love some of these like matte shades. Like this one has this really cool, like almost pinky undertone to it, and I find it very useful quite a bit. So this one here. And so I'm gonna keep this one here. Now I have two color palettes and I feel like I just need to keep one of them. Neither one of them are my favorite. I actually am like disappointed by both of them, but I don't think I need to keep both of them here. So, okay, I think what I'm gonna do is keep the smaller one and send the bigger one home because that makes the most sense to me. So this one's staying in case I need a colorful shade. Now this one here is, good God, she's bulky but at the same time, she's beautiful. Like, and this is the kicker for me. I like these glitters a ton and I do not want to throw them away. So part of me is like, I feel the need to keep this, try to hit pan on as many things as or try to use as many of these things as I can, really enjoy them. And then maybe one day I can try to depot this. Maybe I can even try to depot it before I move back. That wasn't the best swatch, but look at that glitter. Gorgeous. This has a blush in it that's also pretty unique in my collection that I want to hold on to. So even though this is breaking my bulky packaging rule, I'm afraid that if I sent this home, that by the time I got back, these glitters would be unusable, and I love these glitters so much. So the fact that these have like a cream product in them trumps the, trumps anything about like the packaging of it. So I'm gonna keep this guy here. Okay, so this is what I'm keeping here, and back there is what I'm sending home. So I feel like that's a really good job, and I know I can fit this into a carry-on. I did buy a couple palettes that are waiting for me at home, but there's one more ABH palette that I know I can fit, and then there's two little 9-pan palettes from ColourPop that, again, I know I can fit. So this is what, I'm so proud of this, even though this guy here is just kind of obnoxious. I'm so proud of the amount of palettes that I'm keeping. I feel like I'm really gonna get to focus and pay a lot of attention to some of these palettes that don't get enough use for me, despite the fact that I've spent a lot of money on them. So I'm actually feeling really good about these decisions here. Okay, I have a pile of false lashes, and first and foremost, I know the ones I want to send, I know a couple I want to send home are, I have some magnetic lashes pieces up here. The magnetic like full strips don't work for me, so I have to cut them up and make them work for me, and then I don't end up using them a lot. So I will definitely send these little guys home, and I have one other box. Let me get this little glue out. I have one other box that I have not opened to cut up yet, and these will definitely go home too, because I think that the fact that they're magnets make them last longer than like some of these that I want to like actually wear and use. And then I will, one day when I'm done wearing these, then I will try to figure out magnetic lashes again. I feel like I'm determined to figure them out, but I haven't quite done it yet. So I have quite a few like pretty nice pairs of lashes that I picked up at TJ Maxx for like $7 or $8 or so. And I feel the need to keep some of them, or honestly, I feel the need to keep all of them with me. I really like lashes. But I know that probably one of the things I want to do first is work on wearing these lash books, like just finishing off a lash book so that I can declutter it because it's such big packaging. So I definitely think I want to focus on this one first. This, like, it's not the foaming style. This is just more like, I guess like not big event kind of lashes. These are fun to wear. So I want to wear these. So these will stay here with me. And then I probably need to focus on the Ardell ones. But at the same time, I don't know because I want to keep these. I've already opened these. These are staying. Those are already opened and used. This is Miami. This is Havana. Havana's opened. Another Havana. A London. Mykonos. Okay. Man, some of these are so beautiful that I'm like afraid to wear them because they're so big and fluffy that they might overwhelm my face, but okay, so I know I've used multiple of the packs of Havana and it's not my favorite lash style, so I'm tempted to keep it here and just finish it, like use it to the point of like it dies, but at the same time, I think I want to give myself a little break from Havana. Like it's beautiful, it's been a great lash, they last forever, but I think I can be okay sending this one home because I know Havana very well. We're very familiar with each other. Now I have 2 Londons, so I will keep one London and send one home. Okay, I think I made a decision. I was thinking that I wanted to keep these here in order to make myself wear them, but at the same time, I want to really focus on wearing the non-foaming styles. And so I'm going to send this big guy home and keep some of my fancy pairs of lashes to wear them. I think I'll keep all of these. Yeah, I'll keep all of these here. I'll make myself use the less exciting pair of lashes and some of my fancy lashes and enjoy them. So I have things to wear for non-exciting occasions, things to wear for exciting occasions, and then the other ones can just be waiting on me for when I get home. That's what I'm gonna do. Final decision, that's it. Okay, let's talk about mascara. Mascara is something that I don't switch out every 3 months. Like I really like to use every last bit of a mascara. And so I know roughly that most mascaras take me almost a full year, at least full size ones, like wet formulas take me almost a full year to use up. So I'm going to keep this guy and use it beginning in January and see how long this one takes to use up. So that one's staying. Another one that's staying I want to keep is this guy here, the Skinny Mascara. I have not used this and I've had it for a little while. None of these have been opened. So this one is one that I want to keep. And I think for travel purposes, I'll keep a couple little ones. I'll keep the Tarte one, these two, this Too Faced one, this Tarte one, and this little MAC guy in case I travel. But this guy I will send home. This one I've used that before, not crazy about it. I actually might ask my mom if she needs another mascara at the moment because this one really just is not my favorite. And so that one can go home. This guy here is pretty new. I'm almost tempted to send it home, but at the same time, I really want to try it out. It's so heavy. So I'm tempted to keep that here. I've already used some of these, like I'm using one of these right now. I have 2 of them. So this one I will send home because I'm not super impressed with it. So it's okay if it waits for a little while before I open it. This one here, I think I will keep around and because it is that mini guy kind of thing. And then I think I'm gonna send these 2 home because they still are in packaging and I don't think I'm going to like go through these as quickly. They're a little beat up, but they are not that old. So those can go home. And then this one, because even though it's new and I feel the need to make it wait in line, wait its turn, I still want to try this so bad because I've heard so many people rave about this mascara. So I think this is going to be one that I open come like January 1 and work on throughout the year. So wow, it's just so heavy. I'm so crazy. Like it's so crazy how heavy that is. Okay, we're gonna wrap up the video here. You may have noticed that I didn't include lip products, but that's because I'm gonna include lip products in my lipstick roulette series. I've been doing a dedicated lipstick roulette, and I think I'm like episode 12 or so. I think I have 12 or so episodes, and yeah, I highly encourage you go watch that. I'll try to link it too. But also, I'm gonna just do a couple more videos after that and include it in that series where I decide what stays here and what goes home, and just keep it all part of that dedicated lipstick series. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. Make sure to say hello in the comments, and I will see you